Who are you?
I'm Olivia Phipps. I am your girlfriend.
You are much more than that.
Yeah, boy, I'm your director.
You're a director, you're a producer, you're a good egg.
Thanks so much. You're a good egg too.
They're the main things. What you did, basically, you would come to the previews, I'd say the majority of the previews you came to,
Yeah.
and you would sit there, you'd make notes, and the main role, I guess, you had was afterwards, would sit down and you'd say, oh, maybe this bit here needs work, maybe this bit needs a stronger punchline, maybe this bit can be moved earlier, maybe this bit can be moved later, maybe these two bits should be together. So like, I still wrote 100% of the material, but Olivia was helping with the structure, with basically being like another set of eyes and ears to sort of think which bits to improve, and also little things like staging, like saying you could stand here for that bit, or this bit could be bigger.
Just so that you there's someone else who is in the audience who can feel it from the audience's point of view and just watch it as a show, where as a performer might not be able to take themselves out of that so much because they're in it, and they might forget bits or they might move around bits, and kind of it's good to have someone else who's in the audience who's not trying to, part of the preview thing is trying to remember all your material as well. Yeah. And sometimes it's good to have someone who's not having to do the sort of the physical work of doing the remembering, but just helping you go like, right, okay, but when you do get it in your head, do you structure it this way and put it in this, and what you want is for this bit of emotional boom to go here or something, and moving stuff around, and also sometimes saying when it does or doesn't work with the audience or something. So yeah.
And you did that. I mean, it wasn't just in previews. I guess you also were there as director in Edinburgh.
Yeah, I went to every show except 2.
I should have got you a badge, really.
Yeah. Where's my badge?
If it was 100%, you'd get a badge. But missed 2 shows. Unlucky.
That's Josie Long's fault. She was out at the same time as you. I
mean, maybe
she's very good. It's
a
good show, but not as good as Tom. I mean, Tom's show is great.
I mean, I can't possibly agree with the sentiment that my show is better than hers, but okay. Well, I mean,
no, but we should aim high, right? Aim big. Woo!
I mean, we got 3 4-star reviews, so I guess we could legitimately say it's up there.
It was really good. Yeah, I was really proud with how it turned out, and we spent a good year working on it, really, because it wasn't even just previews, which were sort of from, I mean, solidly June and July, but like even as early as sort of February you were doing them. But even before that, just in terms of early talking about the show and what you wanted to do with it, and where you wanted it to be, and why you were making it, and helping those kind of things, and even like poster design and stuff. I think we kind of worked on, but I don't know how often a lot of other directors do that. But.
Well, so I think another reason it was good to have you as a director is because you would give a different perspective to the show. In terms of the show that I was writing was about my upbringing, about being working class, and then you're middle class. So it was good to have you as a director, so I could say, like, literally, does this bit work? Would people from your background get, just to try and make it not accessible, because that makes it sound like it's mainstream or something, just to make sure the bits that aren't that
it's not alienating, or it's not, because actually ultimately like if you're going to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, which is ultimately a really middle class festival, there's got to be some bits in it that and definitely, like, it's always great when you've got a brilliant like working class crowd in. That always works really well because it's relatable and all that kind of stuff, and the energy always seems really good.
Yeah.
But, in the long run, it's got to be for lots of people, and you're asking people to change their minds about things and reassess what they might have thought before, and ultimately that's probably more of the middle classes. So, yeah, it's good to sort of go, have I gone too far? Have I explained that? Have I said what this is? Like, am I talking about it as if everyone would know what that was, or am I treating it with kid gloves? Is it like too much, or too much the other way? So yeah.
How did you find it directing? Did you enjoy it? Do you think you'd want to do more of it? Was there bits that surprised you?
I'd love to do more of it. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it, but I definitely enjoyed the process, because I also think it's something that you sort of do a bit anyway when you watch someone, or when you watch someone that you know their comedy really well, or you know how they perform really well. You know a bit more about how they're thinking and stuff, and it's quite nice to sort of share those thoughts throughout the whole process and help really build it together, because I do think it would have been a different show had you done it all on your own.
Yeah,
not in an up myself way, but it would have just been different.
Yeah, I don't really know. I can't really imagine how.
No, I don't know what it would be.
It's weird, sort of. You can't really imagine how it would have been different, because then you're sort of like, I don't know, because you would have said those things even if you weren't officially the director. But I thought it made sense to say you were the director, because that's giving you like acknowledgement for the help you'd be giving anyway.
Cheers.
Because
yeah. And I'd like to do more of it, and I think like I can understand why you couldn't just take any show and just get any old person to direct you. I think you need someone who totally gets what you're about and is on board with how you work, because I imagine there's loads of arguments for people who just don't quite get each other or something like that, and I think definitely get someone who works really well with you, like a kind of mentor type thing, because then you can, there's definitely notes that I made where you could say like, no, that's not what I wanted at all, and you need to be able to say that rather than think, oh yeah, I better do what she says, and the other way around. I think where I can't feel like I couldn't tell you some way to improve it. Otherwise that's just not, you might as well not bother having that working relationship. Like, what's the point?
Well, and I know people who they've said that they had a director and they ended up taking a show to Edinburgh that wasn't at all what they wanted, and you don't.
Oh, really?
You don't want that. You need to it needs to be someone who you can work with, and they won't just try and change what you're doing and completely shift your focus, or completely mess up your plans. They need to sort of be on board with you and who you are and what you want.
Yeah, because I think if I'd gone, I could have say taken this show and gone like, oh, it needs to be really just for the middle classes, and it needs to be just this, and it needs to be to sell it for TV, or it needs to be like this and this.
Yeah, and it
could have changed the whole tone.
There would have been things along the way where you would have said something like, there's probably 3 or 4 examples where you would have said, oh, maybe you could do this, and I'd be like, yeah, but that's not me. It's not my background. It's not how I think. It's not how I feel. It's not people like me, and you just be like, no, okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
And for you to do that was perfect, because if someone else had been like, yeah, but you have to do that, A, I wouldn't have done it because I'm a stubborn bastard.
Yeah.
But B, if I had done it, it would have changed the show.
Yeah. And I think the reason why that show worked so well was because you had a real, well, one, you had a real structure of kind of like up and down in terms of emotions and stuff, and also with like comedy and heart and more comedy, and kind of putting that blend together really well without it being like, 40 minutes it gets really sad or whatever. But also of it being comedy that is really true to you and isn't just to sell you, or just to do that. It's not just a purpose of it's not like it wasn't just a step in your comedy career ladder. It was like also, I mean, it was that, but it was also a lot more than that, and it meant a lot, and it means a lot more to you than that, and to the people who watched it, because I mean, we had so much feedback of just people. Certain people had no idea, and then certain people who were like, "That's exactly my life. I've never seen anyone talk on stage about the things that I've been through," but also like really fucking funny, really enjoyed it. Like, yeah, you had a lot of people that wouldn't normally necessarily you would see in a lot of comedy, probably not Edinburgh comedy nights anyway. And even flyering, I had a load of people that were like, working class comedy. I'm so glad to hear that. I'm so glad to hear that that's back. And it was really, like, it felt like it had a real meaning to it, which it does. I think, like, and that's really important for a show, because I was thinking, God, I'd really hate to be directing a show that was just like, okay, so this is a stand-up show, and that's all I can really say about it, really. There's just some comedy there. It's about, general stuff. Whereas this was like, he's doing it about this, and it's this, this, and this, and loads of, you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll change your life. Yeah. It was, that was, and I'm glad that you let me into that process, because it was a very emotional process for you to make it. And it took a long time to get there, and you have to work very hard at it. And so, thanks.
That's all right.
That was nice.